Good morning to everybody. How you doing? Hope all's well. Keep up the beautiful work. Bezrat Hashem Yitbarach. Today is Friday, Parashat Ha'azinu. We are in between the most wonderful day, Yom Kippur, and the most wonderful holiday, Sukkot, Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. We hope and pray that we will sit in the Sukkot Oro Shel Leviatan. Be'ezrat Hashem, when Mashiach comes, there's a very deep concept that our rabbis discuss out there. It's hard for a regular human being to understand, but we will see with our own eyes very soon. But there's a big bull out there in the wool world, and it's a huge one, and it's going to have a fight with the Leviathan on the beach. The bull will be standing on the beach, and the Leviathan fish will be in the water. And as the bull gores the fish's tail will slice his neck and make shahita. A fish doesn't need shahita, and the bull does need shahita. And we're going to take the skin of that fish and make a sukkah out of it for all of Am Yisrael to sit in, Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. And for the Sephardic, they're going to eat from the bull, the lachmeh, and for the Ashkenaz, they're going to eat from the fish. Everyone's going to be happy, Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. And when Mashiach comes, we will have everyone home, the hostages, the soldiers, everyone will feel good, and it's going to be euphoric as much as we dream it to be. It's going to be way more, Bezrat Hashem. It's going to be there's going to be so many miracles that we are going to forget. Literally, the miracles of Egypt. And when you talk about Egypt, you think about the Dam, Sephardeya. It's going to be so great that you're going to forget about it, and you're going to have to work on yourself to remember it, and it's coming soon. Bezrat Hashem Yitbarach. So today, as soon as they said Yehi Shem in synagogue, everybody smiled, Baruch Hashem, and some people were hoping, we could have used this Yehi Shem on a Monday, on a Thursday. Well, guess what? Because you all behaved yesterday in synagogue, we're going to give you 3 weeks of Yehi Shem, Bezrat Hashem. Why is there Yehi Shem from now till Sukkot? Sukkot, we understand why it's Yehi Shem. Obviously, it's a holiday. As a matter of fact, it's the holiday of happiness. V'samachta b'chagecha. Even more, even though every holiday you have to be happy, Sukkot even more so. Be'ezrat Hashem. So, why do we have Yehi Shem today? Why is there Yehi Shem tomorrow, Saturday, instead of saying Tzidkatecha? Sunday there's Yehi Shem, and Monday there's Yehi Shem. Our rabbis tell us that number one, there's 4 days in between Kippur and Sukkot, and there are 4 letters in the name of Hashem, Yud-Ke, Vav-Ke. Each one of those days in between, which means today is represented by the letter Yod of Hashem's name, Yud Ke Vav Ke Yishtabach Shemo La'ad. That's how holy and special these days are. We're going from Hayil El Hayil. We're going from Teshuvah Me'irah LeTeshuvah Me'ahava. And also everyone's building sukkahs, everyone's buying lulav and etrog, and there's an atmosphere of happiness in the air. So because of that, we say Yehi Shem for the next 4 days. Bezrat Hashem Yitbarach. Also, every time you pass by a store selling posters, even though it doesn't go with the theme of the misses in the sukkah, sometimes they make this the theme, that the theme. Well, how do I see a poster of Rabino Grande of Batya and not buy it, even though it's a royal blue background? But you see a Bijenem picture. How do you not buy them all? May his merit be a blessing for all of us. Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. So the famous question of Sukkot comes up. Number one, don't forget this Shabbat is Parashat Ha'azinu. It's known as the song. When you look at the Torah tomorrow, you will see that the writing is not the usual writing in the Sefer Torah, the way it goes on lines, like we see a regular parasha. There's 2 places in the Torah that we have this, Az Yashir Moshe, which is a song, and Ha'azinu Hashamayim Va'dabera, is also a song. It's referred to as the song, as we mentioned in last week's parasha. It says in the Torah, "V'ata kitvu lachem et hashira azot." Write for you this song, and we learn from there that Hazinu is the song that it's referring to. But we know you're not allowed to write a piece of a Torah without writing the whole Torah. No parashiot, and therefore it means you have to write the entire Torah. But this parasha is referred to as a song, which is a good lesson for the people who live in Neverland. Of course, everyone we know does what they're supposed to and has the right focus on life. But there are people out there that are always waiting for the grass. They always want the grass on the other side instead of what they have, because they're all worried about what's all around them. They never could focus on what's inside of them. And that's not singing a song, that's being miserable. Someone who always wants what the others have and not focusing on what you have, a person will be miserable, Shema Israel, their entire life. And that's what we don't call it Shabbat Shira, but the Parasha Hazinu is a Shira. We have to get that into our mindset, Be'ezrat Hashem, to always be singing, to always be thankful. We prayed for a lot of stuff on the holidays, and we mentioned, and everyone we know does it, that on the high holidays we have to be thankful for last year, Be'ezrat Hashem. Hashem gave us things, even though we had our tests and we had our trials and tribulations, but also we have to be thankful. Thank goodness we made it. Inshallah, we'll make it many more years with good health and everything good. But we have to always look at what Hashem gives us, and by being appreciative and singing, He will give us even more. Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. And now back to our famous question of Sukkot. How do you take 3 million Jews into a desert for 40 years without complaining? I'm not exaggerating. Yesterday in synagogue, the security guard, he knows the songs of Kippur because they kept calling him in, even though he ain't from our nation, right? And they kept calling him in. The AC is too cold. The AC is too hot. The lady is the guy Hazit probably in his sleep when he's lying down. He's holding a remote control, pressing more cold, right? Uli Alena, and that's not 3 million people, right? Imagine 3 million Jewish people. First of all, this one likes to eat that, and I needed a vegan meal, and I ordered a glad kosher meal, and how come I'm sitting next to this guy and that guy? Uli Alena, one El Al plane could make a steward. People say, not to talk Lashon Hara, but pre-October 7th, it was possible that a couple of stewardesses on El Al had their flight attendants. Now that we have Trump, we could go back to calling them stewardesses and mailmen and how you doing? But anyway, some people say it could be they were a little irritated and cranky. I want to see you cater to 300-400 Jews. God bless them all with the meals and the thing and the sleeping, and my pillow doesn't go back and the sweet belt doesn't fit me. What do you guys discriminate? Fat people, skinny people. Then they bring out the big bright orange seatbelt. Why, Hazit, does the guy who has an extension, why doesn't it have to be a bright orange seatbelt that the whole entire plane has to know that the Manjaro and Ozempic is not working? So Baruch Hashem, this guy ordered a meal. The portions are too small. The food is terrible. As Jackie Mason says, if the food is terrible, why do you want a bigger portion anyway? But anyway, that's only a few hundred. Mashallah, God should watch us all. Imagine 3 million Jewish people. God should bless us all in the desert where there's boiling hot sand. As I once told you, my wife and I, God bless, we went on a trip when we lived in Eretz Israel to the desert. It says, do not take your shoes off. If someone would put their feet in the sand, Shema Yisrael, what could happen? right? And the sun is so bright. Is there a 7-Eleven, Maffy Uber Eats, Maffy Instacart? We wouldn't last 30 seconds, by the way. Anyway, short story long. How do you take? We're all in the desert. There's snakes, there's scorpions, there's quicksand, there's lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Oh, there's bandits. There's this. There's that. At night it's freezing ice cold. There's sandstorms. What happened? How could we make it? And of course we know. Imagine being a mother or a father where your three children were so holy they supported the entire Jewish nation at once. Imagine we had the clouds of glory and merit of Aharon HaKohen. We had the well of Miriam, the water in honor of Miriam, and we had the man in honor of Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Jewish people had protection, had food, had water for 40 years, 3 million Jews, all in merit of three people, the children of Amram and Yocheved, about everyone, the shelemah. How beautiful is that? Imagine. Well, guess what? Aharon was the man of peace. BTW, the Sukkah is a hug from Hashem. We know that a sukkah could be 4 walls, a sukkah could be 3 walls, or 2.5 walls. When you hug someone, if you don't give him, you could give him 4 walls of a hug. You could give him three, right, going like this, and then you could give him even 2.5. But as soon as it gets to only 2 walls, it's a cold hug, and he could tell you're only hugging me because you have to, and not because you want to. Unless the guy's a Jeremy, that's when certain rabbis out there might give the guy a little pinky wave. But of course, we love everyone, thank goodness. But back to our subject, Aharon is a man of peace. Aharon, his marriage should be a blessing for all of us, had 88,000 Aharons carrying his coffin when he passed away. 88,000 people named their children after Aharon because of all the peace that he made. Imagine that many people. There was no name Aharon before Aharon. He was the first. And anyone who's named Aharon is named after him because of his greatness till today, Baruch Hashem. So he had so many because he made so much peace. How apropos is it that someone who's a man of peace like him, who Hashem is giving the hug of the Sukkah, and he is the one who hug everybody, that we have the clouds of glory in his merit. We had one on the bottom to protect us from the hot sand, from snakes and scorpions, from quicksand, then one in every direction to protect us from the heat. It was AC during the day and heat at night. And then there was one on top, which equals 6. We have 6 clouds of glory protecting us. And then we had one in the front leading us. Yishtabach Shemo La'ad. And since it was leading us, it would flatten out mountains and hills. Some people don't like walking on hills. Some people's legs are killing from standing up yesterday so much without having any hills. Hashem should give everyone strength and health and everything good. So the clouds of glory were one of the most amazing phenomenons in world history. If a bandit shot an arrow, if the people are enemies, how you doing? All the Shaim that are out there, if they tried to shoot an arrow, that was the first Iron Dome. Not only that, inshallah, Iron Dome could create this, but we could boomerang the missile back at them. How you doing? If someone shot an arrow towards the clouds, it went into the cloud turned it around and shot it right back at him. That's the next Iron Dome, inshallah, but we won't need it. Mashiach's coming, and all the Haramiyah are going to be Kish Kinish, but the clouds will be Jenin, and because there were 7 clouds, we have 7 days of Sukkot to remember the clouds. We go outside to our Sukkah, we look at through the Sechach. We could see the clouds in the sky. We realized the holiness that they had in the clouds. The Zohar says comes inside of your sukkah. Imagine it's the same clouds of glory, holiness that we had then, we have now. Do not panic with the next Kabbalistic halacha, because halachically it's allowed, just Kabbalistically it's not allowed, that someone who's not part of our nation is not allowed to come inside the sukkah. Imagine telling that to the spoiled ladies in Never Neverland. Thank goodness all the ladies in our community, they're not spoiled. Baruch Hashem, they work hard, and God should give them strength. But in Never Neverland, you think it's easy to get a mani, then go quadruple park on Avenue U, then get what you need, Baruch Hashem. Then you have to go to play mahjong. So things are not as easy. But for us, our community, they, Baruch Hashem, they're working hard. They give the safe in the house. They're cooking. They're cleaning. When a woman cooks for Shabbat on the holiday, it's not just food. She is making a mitzvah from the Torah. Oneg Shabbat is from the Torah. Imagine, Hamavadyah says when a woman sets the table on Thursday, it's a protection for the family. Believe it or not, Yishtabach Shemo La'ad. I have an aunt, God bless her. When Hamavadyah, her husband was a Hazan from Egypt, and Hamavadyah, when he came here, he went to visit, and they weren't home, but he saw the table was set, and he said, "Bravo, kol hakavod, that they set the table early. It's a protection. It's a blessing." So we don't underestimate. It's not just cooking. It's not just on a Sunday night making a barbecue. You're making Am Yisrael appreciate the Shabbat. Every potato that's cooked is a mitzvah. Yishtabach Shemo La'ad. So anyway, back to our subject. Number one, we had the clouds of glory, and they protected us, and it was a beautiful, beautiful blessing. And like we said, to the spoiled women out there in Wisconsin, who would go crazy not letting the goy in the sukkah. Who, you want me to clean the table? You want me to do this? But halachically, goy is allowed in the sukkah, no problem. As a matter of fact, ask your local rabbi for details. A goy can even build the sukkah, but like I said, for specifics, talk to your local rabbi. But anyway, that's how holy the sukkah is. Now, Hamavadyah asked the most beautiful question. And when did he ask this question? When he was already 90, God bless, and we fasted a whole Kippur, and we prayed a whole Kippur, and imagine Hamavadyah's prayers in the Kippur. They're not just heke. He cried by the vidui that if I saw someone else crying, I said, Baba, if Hamavadyah's crying, we have to, who knows what, jump off a roof, God forbid. He used to cry when he said, Hashem, I wasted time from learning Torah. Hamavadyah learned in one day more than people learn in a lifetime. And he was crying, Bitalnu Toratecha Yamin Belelot. And we were ready to break the fast. I think I said this the other day. It's worthwhile of repeating. And we go upstairs to break the fast with him. And God bless, of course, you think he's not going to keep 72 minutes? According to Maran Shulchan Aruch, you have to keep 72 minutes every single Shabbat, which, like we said, we did speak about this. If someone could try to accept it upon themselves to keep Rabbeinu Tam time, you could do midrabanans, but don't do dooraitas. And if you want to drive home from shul, get an electric car, not an electric chair. That's for the other guy who yesterday was screaming in your ear. What? No, I'm kidding. We got an electric car. That's really rabbinic. Of course, be careful who you tell that to. If there's an eruv, an electric car, and it's rabbinic, Shema Yisrael, what people would start to think. But you could keep, like I said, Rabbeinu Tam, you get a beracha from heaven from Chacham Ovadia, and you could do midrabanan, but don't do things from the Torah. So Chacham Ovadia sat there giving divrei Torah, and all of a sudden someone gets up. The guy who was shufing the hot rugelach on the plate, on the table, as Hamavadia is giving the Torah. This guy's waiting to grab one of those rugelach and chow it down. And Hamavadia is talking. He's older than 90, 90 something. Imagine. And he's giving the Torah and he's going till 72 minutes. And once 72 minutes came, the guy comes to tell him, Rabbi, it's 72 minutes. He was waiting for Hamavadia to say, get that gun, shoot it in the air, let the games begin. Yalla, chow down time. Hamavadia said, well, there's a halacha that you have to add more holiness onto the Tosefet Kodesh alachol. And the guy looked at Hamavadia, Hamana. He was maybe 60 years younger than Hamavadia. And Hamavadia said, one more minute. He starts giving the Torah. But when he saw everyone's faces, Hamavadia said, Yalla, chow down. Baruch Hashem. So he asked the question at that moment. May his merit be a blessing for all of us. He tells us we have a holiday for the Sukkah. The holiday is for the clouds of glory of Aaron. We have the holiday of Sukkot, but we also had the man. The man fell for 40 years, every single day, and on Friday a double dip, and it was still hot. When they ate it on Shabbat, a double portion fell on Friday, and it was still hot when they ate it on Shabbat. It tasted like whatever you want. They never needed the facility. There was no need for Ozempic and Manjaro because it was all nutrients. It tasted like heaven. If you wanted it to taste like a frozen Charleston chew, that's what it tasted like. If you wanted it to taste like a Delpha roll, that's what it tasted like. And if you wanted it to taste like a Bernstein's pastrami sandwich, that's what it tasted like. And it's such an amazing item. And they made a beracha hamotzi lechem min hashamayim. Some rabbis say that's what they made. So there's no holiday for the man. And what about the water? The water of Miriam. Anyone who drank from the water of Miriam got better if they were sick, and they never got sick after that. Hamaya says there was no hospitals, no need for hasalah in the desert because of the water of Miriam. And whoever drank from the water of Miriam never forgotten the Torah that they learned. Imagine, and Hamaya told us a whole long story. We're not going to say it now. How the Arizal took Rabbi Chaim Vital to Tiberia, to the Kinneret, to get, there's the water of Miriam, the rock that followed us around the desert for 40 years is on the bottom of the Kinneret, and every once in a while it gives out a little burst of water, and if someone's lucky to drink it, they'll get Refuah shelemah, and they'll also never ever forget the Torah. And Rav Chaim Vital was able to remember everything Rabbeinu Ha'ari taught him. So why do we have a holiday for the clouds, but not for the man and not for the water? I don't know what the holiday will be. Maybe to drink all kinds of Slurpees and all things to commemorate the water. And then the man will be your good old pastrami sandwich, etc. Chani, get the pastrami ready. Anyway, long story short, he answered an answer that is connected to Parashat Ha'azinu, and that is, unfortunately, the people, there was a story with the water with Moshe Rabbeinu. The people also complained about the water, Me Meriva, and then they also complained about the man. Who wants the man? We would rather have the lahmeh and the cowboy steak. By the way, even though it tasted, they didn't, some people who complained didn't want to be on a spiritual level totally. They wanted to be able to indulge in delicacies of this world, which Hashem did create the delicacies, but not in the desert. Long story short, there was action, bibkiing with the water, bibkiing with the man. So therefore Hashem said, how could I make a holiday out of something that there was crying about? That's what Shira is all about. That's what Hazir was all about, to always be in the chipper way of things and looking at things in a positive light. But the clouds, no one ever complained about. Baruch Hashem. There was no need to bring the security guard to change this guy's AC, that guy's heat, etc. Everything was just right. Because of that, Hashem made a holiday, and Bezat Hashem, we'll talk about Sukkot more. Also, we know, thank goodness, in Brooklyn, New York, and the tri-state area, everybody knows that when you spend money on mitzvot, of course, you're giving honor to Hashem, and you're showing what's important to you. When you have a guy go out for dinner for $1,000, and no problem, ahlan sahlan, saha hana, enjoy forever. But when it comes to buying a lulav and etrog, $18. What are you, a harami? What about $12? Anyway, it costs you $6. What's the big deal? They won't spend on a lulav and etrog, but they'll spend on the dinya. But thank goodness we know everyone spends the way they're supposed to. Far away in Neverland, you have a guy getting a Sefer Torah, Shema Yisrael, that could be sold in amazing savings. But the case, he spends on the case. Of course, the case is a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful mitzvah. But of course, the inside of the Torah is where we should put our effort to. That's the main mitzvah, is the Torah. The case is gorgeous. BTW, while we're on the subject, even though we mentioned in class in synagogue last week, the new cases, they don't have bells on the rimonim. And even though it makes life easier, because when they sell the rimonim on Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, and you have 20 kids, mashallah, standing there with the rimonim, so they start doing Mr. Miyagi, heke, noises with the bell thingies. The rabbi's trying to pray, so the new rimonim don't have bells, but that's a mistake. When you buy Torah, shalom with good luck, make sure the rimonim have bells on them, because the whole purpose of the rimonim is that if someone's in shul praying and the Torah, they're bringing it out or in for whatever reason it is, he has no idea that a Torah just went by him and he didn't stand up for a Torah. And just like yesterday in the Kodesh HaKodeshim, the Kohen Gadol had the bells, so too the Rimon has bells. So when you do purchase a Torah with beracha, ad blidai, make sure to keep that into consideration. Stop here for today. Hope everyone has the greatest day. Keep up the excellent work. Sorot Tobot, Yeshuot v'Nehamot, Shabbat Shalom, and Happy Sukkot. Bezrat Hashem. Take care. Bye.